All right, so we are going to be starting on page 275 today, down at the bottom here. We're going to work with these three problems down here. What is nice is we kind of already know how to do the problems in this lesson. So we're just going to be working with multiplying a fraction by a fraction in today's lesson. But here's the thing. We, in yesterday's lesson, ended up doing this after we turned our whole number to a fraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with letter F. We're going to kind of do a little review problem here, and then we will work on these problems here, okay? So let's start with letter F. Letter F is 3/5 times 10. Let me adjust here a little bit. 3/5 times 10. So if you remember, we have to change, I'm going to put my dot in the middle again, change our whole number to a fraction by just adding a 1 at the bottom. Okay, and then if you remember, I said if you have a number diagonal from each other that have a common factor between them, you can simplify ahead of time. And we see that 5 and 10 do. So I'm going to change this to a 1 because 5 can go into 5 once, 5 can go into 10 twice. So now I multiply straight across. My numerator times my numerator, 3 times 2 gives me 6. Put my line underneath. My denominator times my denominator, 1 times 1 gives me 1. Now my answer is 6/1. But when I rewrite my answer, I don't write 6/1. I just write 6 because this is a whole number. We can ignore the 1 at the bottom, okay? But what's really nice is now when we're multiplying fraction by a fraction, this step right here is exactly what we do for here. So we actually lose a step from going from a whole number to just a fraction by fraction. However, I see that we can simplify a couple times in this problem before we even start solving. And I think you're really going to enjoy this. So I see 3/4 times 4/9. But diagonally across from each other, I see 3 and 9. They can go into each other. I know 3 can be put into each one of these or pulled out of each one of these. If I pull a 3 out of 3, I get 1. If I pull a 3 out of 9, I get 3. So now my new problem becomes 1 times 4 over 4 times 3. But wait a second. I see 2 4s here. They can be simplified ahead of time also. I can pull a 4 out of 4 and get 1, a 4 out of 4 and get 1. Well, what the heck? Now my multiplication is so much easier. I have 1 times 1 on my top, my numerator. That gives me 1. On the bottom, I have 1 times 3. That gives me 3. My answer is 1/3. Easy as that. Now, I'm going to simplify ahead of time. I'm not going to rewrite this down below, but I'm going to simplify up here and then rewrite my new problem down below here. Okay, so I'll put a line just so you know that that's for that problem, and then this is for this problem here. Okay, so I notice 5 and 10, just like they did here, can be simplified down. That becomes a 1, that becomes a 2. But 6 and 9 have 3 in common. We can pull 3 out of each one of these. If I pull 3 out of 6, I'm left with 2. Pull 3 out of 9, I'm left with 3. Now my new problem becomes 1/2 times 3/2. If I multiply my numerators together, I get 3. 1 times 3 is 3. I multiply my denominators together, 2 times 2, I get 4. My answer is in its simplest form, and I get 3/4. Okay, let's flip to the page after this, page 276, and we're just going to do a couple more problems in the guided practice section here. So let's do problem number 1. I think this is going to be a pretty easy one. Here we don't even really need to rewrite our problem, but I'm going to down below here. I'm going to do 1 times 1, numerator times numerator, and I get 1. Denominator times denominator, 8 times 2, I get 16. My answer is 1/16. Let's go over here. Nothing we can simplify ahead of time. 2 and 5 don't have a common number. 4 and 3 don't either. Smaller than what these are. So we're just going to multiply straight across. 2/3 times 4/5. 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 5 is 15. That's in its simplest form. I don't need to simplify that down anymore. So my answer is 3/15. Let's move on to this down here. This problem, number 5, I can change this to a 1, this to a 2. I can change this to a 1 and this to a 2. And now my new problem becomes 1/2 times 1/2. my answer is now 1 on top and 4 at the bottom. And I'm left with 1/4. Okay, pretty easy today. So what I'm going to do is have you do the following problems as your homework. Again, we're going to do problems number, so just shift this over here. Problems number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 on page 277. I just wanted to show you the page number down here. Problems number 1 through 7. So make sure you are showing your work for each problem. If it helps you to simplify ahead of time like I was doing, go right ahead and do that. Again, like we noticed, we can't do that for every problem. I see a couple problems on here that you may be able to do that. And I also see 2 problems in your homework that are whole numbers. So just think back to how we set up our problem to multiply a whole number by a fraction. Again, there will be another Google form attached to this assignment in Classroom so that you can take a picture of the whole page. So when you are taking a picture, my document camera doesn't go that far out. Maybe it will this way here. I should be able to see the whole page. I want to see your name written up at the top here, and sorry, this is sideways. I just wanted to show you what I would like to see, just to clarify everything, make sure I know whose it is, and then what assignment it is. So I'd like to see the page number at the bottom, your name up on top, and then all the work shown. Now, if you use a different sheet of paper to show your work, just make sure you upload that along with this page too. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions.